God bless you and welcome back to Three Angels Broadcasting Network, and we are so happy that you've joined us today. Unfortunately, my husband could not make it to this program, but don't tell him. Fluffy is taking his chair today. Fluffy is going to be our co-host, and Fluffy's real happy about that. You know why? Our special guest today is Barbara Kerr. And as you know, I like to call her the Julia Childs of vegetarian cooking. And she will be sharing some wonderful recipes that you can take along with you on a picnic. So this is really going to be a special program today. And Fluffy is our formal taste tester today. And she's already on duty and ready to tackle the task. And I have to say I am too. I think I'm going to really enjoy trying out these recipes. So get your pencil and paper because you're going to want to jot down these recipes and use them right away. Did you know that if you live to be 70 years of age, you will actually spend 6 whole years eating? That's a long time. And it's interesting to note that in the Bible, Jesus even used his time of eating to the best advantage. He used the time to make friends and to teach people about the kingdom of heaven and about heavenly things. And it's recorded several times throughout the scriptures. For example, in Mark chapter 2, beginning with verse 15, it says, "And it came to pass that as Jesus sat at meat in his house, many publicans and sinners sat also together with Jesus and his disciples, for there were many, and they followed him. And when the scribes and Pharisees saw him eat with publicans and sinners, they said unto his disciples, How is it that he eats and drinks with publicans and sinners? When Jesus heard it, he said to them, They that are whole have no need of a physician, but they that are sick. I came not to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance." You know, in the Oriental lands, they have a special custom. Once a friend has accepted a drink of water from someone or they shared a meal together, there's an unwritten understanding that they should be friends forever. You know, it's no wonder that Jesus took that special time during sharing a meal together to reach out to those individuals, to share beautiful concepts about the kingdom of heaven, and to simply make friends. Do you know somebody today who might need a little heavenly sunshine, or who might really be needing a touch from the Heavenly Father? We at Three Angels Broadcasting Network would just like to urge you to use that time of sharing a meal together to also share the precious truths of Jesus Christ with those individuals as well. And you might want to have them over for a meal. Of course, it will be a veggie-style meal, and if you're looking for some special recipes, please contact us here at 3ABN. Or you might want to have them over for a picnic. If so, get your pencil and paper ready because we'll be sharing some wonderful vegetarian picnic recipes in just a moment. Before we go to our special guest, Steve Darmody has a special song to share at this time, and it's entitled Friends.
You are my sister. Even when I do not know you, you are my brother. Even when I do not show you, you're in my family. In Christ, you're kin to me. Now you are one with me. Shall we learn to be friends? And when I'm hurting, you are my Father. Please forgive me my deserting. You're in my family. In Christ, you're kin to me. Now you are one with me. Shall we learn to be friends? I need you near me when my hope is gone. Come lift me up and help me carry on. Then when you're weak, you'll find me by your side to comfort you and see you through. You are my daughter. It matters not your race or nation. You are my son, my own. May we embrace in celebration. You're in my family. In Christ, you're kin to me. Now you are one with me. Shall we learn to be
Welcome back to the 3ABN Kitchen, where we have an artist for vegetarian cuisine, and that's Barbara Kerr. Welcome back, Barbara.
Thank you, Linda. I appreciate that. I love coming back to this kitchen to cook. You've got everything here, and we have a wonderful menu plan for today. And we're going to do some picnicky kind of party foods to help people that have a lot of trouble with, say you're a new vegan vegetarian, or you want to do some vegetarian cooking and you are maybe a little hesitant to take something either to potluck or have friends come over to your house. If you want to make something for a party in the evening, you need a dip recipe, salsa, those kind of things. We've got everything planned out for them today. So
let's face it. When some people find out that you're vegetarian and they look at what you've made, they'll go, oh no, I don't know if I want to try that.
That's exactly right. And a lot of times people will say, you know, my family tells me that I eat really strange. But you know what? You can win them over. You really can. So I think that we've got some winners here today and some things, a few recipes that I've adapted. One of my favorites that we're going to do is a new recipe, carob Muddy Buddies. I think people will recognize the Muddy Buddy recipe from the back of the shredded wheat or the one of those wheat Chex boxes. And so we've come up with a recipe that will be really tasty, and I think you're really going to like it. So the menu we have today for you is really good, and we're going to start off with some Western potato rounds. Then we're going to make a Key West fruit salsa with cinnamon chips. So if you've never had a cinnamon chip before, I think you'll really like it.
Sounds good.
And 7-layer dip, which is an adaptation from the 7-layer dips that you see at all the parties, but it's non-dairy, and I think it tastes really great. And then that's going to have one of my best pimento cheese sauces in it, which I think, of course, is the best. So we're going to do a Cancun Salsa, and that salsa is a copycat from when Bill and I went to Cancun a couple years ago, our first vacation after 10 years. So they had a wonderful salsa there that was not hot, and I do not like hot salsas.
And you examined it closely.
Oh yes, I mean it wasn't hard to figure out that it was just tomatoes and onions and lime and those kind of things. So I think you'll really like it. It's very authentic tasting. And then of course the Carib Muddy Buddies, which I just love. So I think you'll really like it. So let's start with our Western potato rounds, and we'll read the ingredients for you. We have 4 large unpeeled baking potatoes, about 2.5 pounds. You'll need some canola oil spray, a little salt to taste, 1/8 cup seedless blackberry all-fruit jam, 1/2 cup Classico sun-dried tomato sauce, 1 tablespoon cilantro chopped, 1 15-ounce can black beans drained and rinsed, 1 medium-large tomato diced small, and 2 cups of shredded soya sauce mozzarella cheese, or your favorite cheese substitute. And we're going to start out by preparing the potatoes. You need to take 4 potatoes that are, a really good size, because you want something that's kind of round, because we're going to be eating them like they're a big chip with a scoop of some stuff on top of them. So we're going to take, and this is a garnisher, and I don't know, have you ever used a garnisher before, Linda?
No.
It's really easy because you can use it left-handed or right-handed, and they have different kinds. And we're just going to slice off at the end, because that's really gets too small. And you just go through and cut. You don't want them too thin. If they get much thinner than that, they kind of get a little flimsy to hold on to. So we're going to do that, and then I'm going to let you go ahead. I know how you like to try new things. So just keep the one corner down, and then just put it right across there. There you go. That looks good. See, she's a pro already.
Yeah, it just takes one try.
See, isn't that kind of fun? And when you use the garnisher, when these bake on the cookie sheet, it gives the bottom almost like a grilled look to it, because that part browns more on the inside. We can toss that. So let's arrange this on our baking stone, which we've got right here. I'll let you pull that out.
Now, these stones are really one of your favorite things to use for baking and cooking, so maybe you could explain to us why.
Sure, this is a 100% clay product, and I really can hardly bake anymore on regular cookie sheets and glass, because when I cook on this, I know that when I look inside that basically the color on the top is going to be about the same color on the bottom. A lot of things don't stick and burn to this, and it's just like using a clay oven. So it's what I've really gotten comfortable with, and so I'm it's like my pacifier almost now. So what we're going to do to the potatoes, we're going to now spray them. This is a kitchen spritzer, and it has canola oil spray, but you can get any canola or olive oil spray, and you're just going to spray this. Okay, and then you're going to do both sides. So go ahead and flip those over while I put a little more air into our spritzer. And then we're going to lightly salt them and put them in the oven. Okay, and you can just sprinkle those with a little salt. And this, of course, you're going to do with 4 potatoes, and it's going to take you probably 2 batches through the oven, and that way we can just take that and get our ones that are already done. And we're going to, you can also get ready with your saucepan the next ingredients. This is what they look like when they're done. You're going to bake them at 450 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes. Now, this is the bottom side, and I wanted to have this side up so people could see the ridges, and it looks like it's grilled. But you can kind of see this side's not so brown, so I wanted people to know that that is what they look like. You can just see they're starting to brown on this side. Know that they're getting brown on the other side. So this gives them some really good flavor. So we can just set these here, because that's what we're going to put our sauce on. Now, what we have, I'm just going to hand you that. That's kind of a big cutting board there. We've taken a saucepan and we've put our, how much do we have? 1/8 of a cup of seedless blackberry jam, and you just want this to melt, okay? And then you're going to add the Classico sun-dried tomato sauce. And I really like this brand, Linda. I'm kind of you know how sometimes you get stuck on one thing?
If it's good, that's a good
You
thing
know,
to do.
the sun-dried tomato has such a rich flavor to it that it really lends itself well to a lot of barbecue-y sauces, and that's what we're kind of trying to do, is just get a light barbecue sauce. I'm just going to let you stir that.
Okay.
And then as soon as that dissolves, you're going to add your cilantro, and this is one of your secret ingredients.
Okay.
Because the cilantro really, if
Can
don't
you buy
bake
that
with
at
it-
any grocery store?
Most every grocery store carries cilantro and parsley. If they have any fresh stuff, those will be the two that they carry. So, and then as soon as you get that in, we're going to put in our tomato, and we have one medium large tomato, which we have diced small, and one 15-ounce can of black beans, and we've just drained these and rinsed them. And now you just really want to get those coated. Those don't have to, this does not have to cook. You just want that to mix up. And so now that we've gotten that, I'm going to bring this where it's a little closer to you so you can just really make sure that's mixed up good, Linda.
Ooh, that smells wonderful.
These are real tasty because you can put them out on a platter, because we're going to put a little scoop of this on each potato round, and then you can just serve them that way. And people, it's finger food. You can just pick it right up. It's a great Super Bowl kind of party food for the guys. You know, it's a kind of a macho thing. So if your husband watches Super Bowl or any football or any sports like that, then you know, this did get the thumbs up from my husband. And he's really picky. I mean, he is my hardest critic. So let's pull those down and show them how to scoop this up. Now you don't need a lot on each one. You just want to put a scoop so there's a little bit of a taste. And then I'm going to let you get the cheese.
You could probably serve this warm or cold.
I would think so, because really all we're going to do is put it in the oven for about 5 minutes just to melt the cheese. And as a matter of fact, you don't have to put cheese of any type on here, an imitation cheese or anything. If you don't have one that you like, or you have a particular dislike for that, then you know, you can try that. So you can get our cheese and sprinkle that on top, and we'll stick this in the oven for 5 minutes. And just melts, and just put a little dab on each one on the top.
Okay.
So the soy cost cheese
Lately,
tastes-
they've actually been selling this imitation cheese at regular grocery stores. I've been
Yes.
finding it. So
Yes, they have. And you know, people I don't think realize that you can go to your grocer and ask them, request certain health food items, because I think they're realizing now that the public is starting to demand healthier food. And so if you go into your grocer, you can get them, a lot of times if they can get that supplier, they will put it on the shelf for you, because I mean, they want to make money. So
sure,
and I think the public is really,
it makes a difference.
yes, it definitely does.
So we're going to put this in the oven for how long?
Just 5 minutes. All we need
5
is just to melt the cheese. And I mean, you really wouldn't even have to. It's just really a personal preference. So if you want to just have that little melted look. One thing about imitation cheeses is that when you shred them, like we shredded this cheese earlier, it tends to stick back together a little bit. So if you take it and shred it right away, it will really lay on there very nicely, and it's a beautiful dish. So you can pop
Yes.
that in the oven,
Okay.
and we will start on our next salsa. So the next dish that we're going to make is our cinnamon chips, and the ingredients are a 1/4 cup pure maple syrup, 1 teaspoon ground cinnamon, and we're going to use 6 Garden of Eden tortillas, which are whole wheat and very low fat. You're going to bake them at 400 for 14 minutes or until they're crisp and lightly browned. So this recipe is really fun, and all we're going to do, you can go ahead and just put the maple syrup and the cinnamon in there together, and we're going to whisk that up.
Okay.
I'll let you do it. Linda, I'm going to let you do more this time.
All right.
Usually I'm always hogging the ingredients, and you're standing there looking so pretty and saying, oh, it's good."
Hey,
Just kinda whisk
this
that
is
together.
fun too.
And I'm
Now
gonna
all of
open
these
up-
are recipes that you developed too.
Yes. And like I said, a few of them are adaptations, like the Carib Muddy Buddies. And you know, it's sort of like playing the piano by ear, only hopefully not as hard, because I can't play the piano by ear, but I think anybody can learn how to adapt recipes. When you look through and you find something, for instance, that calls for a solid fat like butter or margarine or something, Crisco, something in that line, you can usually substitute canola oil for it. Okay, that's not always, because some things shouldn't be too liquid or it changes them. But a lot of times you can. And so, you know, little things like that when you go through, if you're learning how to cook this way. Now, Linda, this is going to be kind of messy. I don't know if you have a plate that we want me to cut this on, but I'm going to run a pizza cutter over these.
Okay.
So we can. What we're going to do is take your pastry brush, and you do not have to have a pastry brush because we don't have a pastry brush today because I forgot mine at home. So we're making do with a very new, clean paintbrush. So whatever you can do to get by, that's what you need to do. Now there are 6 tortillas in the package, and they're just whole wheat tortillas. There's a couple different varieties out there. It really doesn't matter which one you use, and that would be great. I think we can cut on there. We're going to run the, I'm just going to show you how to do this anyways. You want to basically paint. Just pretend like you're an artist and paint both sides of this and cover the edges. So go ahead, Linda. I'm just really going to let you do this today.
Hey, this is fun.
And then these cinnamon chips, when you bake them, are wonderful. You're going to do both sides though, because whole wheat has a strong flavor. You really need to get both sides of it, and that way it gives it more of the flavor, and you're not feeling like you're really eating something that's, you know, maybe too good for you, I guess. People want to taste the stuff that tastes just like, you know, they want the stuff that tastes bad for you, but is really good for you. So hopefully that's what, you know, that's what this will be. So just coat that really good. And then what we're going to do is just take your pizza roller. I do have a pizza cutter here.
Okay.
And usually this is on a flat surface. Maybe I'll do this, I'm afraid of marking up your plate, on top of this other one, just so you can see. And then just run your pizza roller over it, okay? And you're going to make 8 chips out of it, out of 1 tortilla, okay? And then take your stone or your cookie sheet, and then just put this right onto your cookie sheet, okay? That's all you need to do. And but you don't want them overlapping. You want them just individual, and you're going to bake them for about 14 minutes at, what temperature did I say? Is it 400? 400 degrees, and they'll just get crisp. You don't want them to take them out of the oven if they're still soft or they're very bendy. They will crisp up a little after they're done, but I want to show these to you that are finished, and these are really tasty. I really like this,
They're
Linda.
pretty too. They're pretty too.
I mean,
you know, I mentioned at the beginning of the program that we had a little taste tester here. I wonder,
you do?
And I
And
have
it's
to
not the
mention. Well, actually, we've got quite a few here, but I want to mention that Fluffy is extremely finicky, and if she likes these, anybody will like them.
She's finicky. My cat is finicky too. As I told you earlier, she won't eat anything but carob. I mean, if you give her chocolate, forget it. So I love having a healthy animal. Are we giving Fluffy a taste test now?
Let's give Fluffy a taste test. Fluffy, come here. Let's see if you like these.
It's always good if the dog will eat your food.
Let's see if these are a winner. Oh my goodness. Barbara, I think you've got something here. Even finicky Fluffy is going for them.
All right. I think it'd be a little messy for her to have the fruit salsa. I just love it when those finicky eaters love my food. I have a really finicky cat, and she loves carob, and it's really cute because she recently had the choice between a carob chip and a chocolate chip, and she chose the carob chip. So I thought that was pretty funny. So she goes nuts when you open those healthy food packages.
You know, something I want to emphasize is that these are wonderful for humans too.
Well, that's good, because
and we're going to make a fruit dip for them.
Right, we're
now.
going to do a fruit salsa, and what we're going to do is read the ingredients for you. And to start out with, we've got 1 cup of raspberries, frozen or fresh, 2 kiwi fruit, peeled, sliced, and quartered, 1 large apple, peeled, cored, sliced, and chopped, 1 cup of blueberries, fresh or frozen, and 1 15-ounce canned peaches in natural juice, drained and chopped. We're also going to put in a teaspoon of lime zest, 2 tablespoons lime juice, and 2 tablespoons of honey. So this salsa, this fruit salsa has a really good taste to it, Linda. So I'm going to let you put these, just go ahead and just put them in any order, the fruit. And the apple, since it needs to be, we've just quartered it, and I'm going to chop it with my favorite kitchen tool, my Whippy Dippy chopper. And because you can really just peel it however you want to chop it, just so that it's diced. And then okay, you just want real little pieces, so you can just chop that up. And let's see, can I use your, go ahead, put that peaches in, and then I'll use your spoon to kind of scoop that up. I didn't bring all of my kitchen tools with me this time, Linda. I'm a little bit lost. I keep remembering things that I forgot. So
They probably really are questioning you at the airport as you're traveling with cookie sheets and pie pans.
well, I actually had somebody who was standing behind me in line at the airport once. I had my son's backpack on, because I don't own a backpack, and I had my 12-inch skillet and lid sticking, the handle was sticking out of the back, and I heard the couple behind me snickering, going, she's got a frying pan in her luggage. So I really did, snicker at that. So. I just tell them I work for some famous restaurant and I have to travel with my dishes. So is that bowl big enough, or do we need to put that in here?
I think we need a bigger bowl.
Okay, go ahead and just put that right into there. And
boy, there's so many colors in this one.
this is a beautiful recipe, and it tastes so good. And one of the secrets is this lime zest that we're putting in. And zest is just a little bit of the peel of the lime. And I want to show you. You can see this lime here. I've really done a number on it by zesting it, and I have, now you don't have to use this, you can scrape it with something else, but I brought down the one I'd used this morning. You just kind of pull little bits towards you, and it makes longer pieces, okay, until you get like a teaspoon. You don't have to have this tool to do lime zest, Linda. You can just take your paring knife and get a little bit off of here. And then I just take the big pieces and dice them up with my knife so that they're small, so someone's not getting a big chunk of lime peel, but it really gives it a nice taste. Go ahead and put our lime juice in. There's 2 tablespoons and 2 tablespoons of honey. And that one, it should come out of there.
Okay.
If you need a rubber spatula, that looks good. And then you just kind of blend all that together, and that's what I use with the cinnamon chips. And it's just a real nice alternative because there's very, very little fat in here in this recipe. And it has a lot of flavor with the fruit. So this is excellent if your hubby's on, or you are on, really need to watch your fat intake, but you want something that's a party food that you just don't have to worry about. So
You know, the lime gives it such a fresh scent to it.
oh, it's just a wonderful taste. I'm going to move back, not that I'm afraid.
And it's so beautiful. I'm the one with the white jacket. It might have some red splashes on it.
That looks great. So
We're going to have to try this.
I was going to say, we're not really going to just let this sit here the whole rest of the show. And
No, we're gonna have to try this.
so you go right ahead. And you know, when the raspberries and blueberries are frozen right out of the freezer, it has a little bit different consistency to it. But when they're fresh, and I mean, you still have the flavors.
That is wonderful.
We'll see you guys later.
Hey, I think they're waiting for some more recipes, so we better maybe dig into this a little later.
That sounds great.
Okay.
So this is our fruit salsa. The next recipe that we're going to make for you is, eventually we'll get it, our best pimento cheese sauce. And the ingredients are 1 cup distilled water, 3/4 cup raw cashew pieces, 3 tablespoons nutritional yeast flakes, 1 1/4 teaspoon sea salt, 2 teaspoons onion powder, 1/4 teaspoon garlic powder, 1/2 cup pimentos undrained, 2 tablespoons lemon juice, and 1 teaspoon dill weed. This cheese sauce is, of course, you know, one of the best because I think all of my food tastes good, or at least most of it. That's what my mother's favorite line all growing up is.
Well,
people would ask her if it tasted good, and she says, "I don't make anything that doesn't taste good." So,
well, when you're developing a recipe, you're not going to stop until it does taste good.
that's right. And I had you know how when I told you with the Thanksgiving and the Christmas show, I had several recipes that went just, you know, one after the other, and they worked the first time. These shows, it did not happen that way. Poor Bill, bless his heart, he'd come home from dinner at night and he would say, "Honey, what's for supper?" And say, "I had to throw dinner in the trash tonight. I'm really sorry. It just didn't taste good." So, you know, I do go through a lot of ingredients and a lot of groceries, and it really does take a very patient husband to, you know, put up with that. So I just want to thank Bill for this whole last month of all those dinners he missed. So this recipe, though, is good because we just put the ingredients, and they're the ones that are lined up right there, Linda.
Okay.
We're going to whip up the cashews in the water first. Okay. And I just put distilled water on my recipes because that's what I like to cook with. And you can just use whatever water you've got. And there was a little piece of saran wrap that was with this, and this will keep the. And now you can just put the ingredients in. We're going to blend the cashews up a little bit first. And then you can add the other ingredients in any order. So these ones right here. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. And that's our onion powder and garlic powder, which is 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 1/4 cup of garlic powder, a teaspoon of dill weed, 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast flakes, and our 1/2 cup of pimentos. You can go ahead and put those in there too, Linda. So I just like to read them.
So you don't have to drain this or anything. No. You just put the whole thing in.
Just a 1/2 cup, which is 4 ounces.
Okay.
So when you go to the grocery store, let's get that last little. I'll use my little skinny scraper. You can get that out with it. Those are red peppers. For the longest time, I didn't know what a pimento was, and I mean, a pimento is a pimento. I didn't know it was a red pepper. So. I know.
These are things my husband likes to avoid.
Oh, he doesn't like pimentos? I thought he just didn't like onions.
Onions and peppers, both of them.
Okay. But he's really sweet. The last time I made something that had onions in it, he tried it anyways, so I thought that was great. Is this lemon juice? Yeah, 2 tablespoons of lemon. As you can see, this is getting redder. Now we're going to heat this in a skillet. We're going to put our lemon juice in. If you can find a little saucepan, we're going to heat this. Okay. And as you can see that it's orange in color. Okay. Now you can use, assuming I can get the blender off the base, you can use this sauce, which is very liquidy right now, in any kind of cheese recipe like a lasagna or a macaroni and cheese where you want to replace a liquid cheese. You do not need to cook it first. Now if you want the cheese sauce that's thicker for dipping, what you do, and we're going to be putting this in our 7-layer dip, so we want it thickened. You're going to put it in a saucepan, and you're just going to cook it over a medium heat until it begins to thicken, and the cashews will do that to it. And so Linda's getting that, and we're going to put that in our pan, and I'll just let you stir that.
Okay.
And I think we just had a spatula somewhere, but that's okay.
This is really a pretty one too.
Let's turn this on. Yes, this is. Now you can see the dill weed in here, but I don't really care. I mean, some people would be real picky that you can see green in it, but it's still orange enough that I think that that's fine. And the dill just gives it a really nice flavor. So turn that on, and that's just going to thicken. And if you have a rubber scraper, we've got a bunch of cheese that's still on the bottom here. Or imitation.
We have to make sure we have enough for all of the staff here.
Oh, I'll tell you, every time I come, people come in the morning when I start cooking and they say, "Barb, make sure and save me a plate." Tell them the office workers want some of your food too, so that's always very nice. This is going to go into our 7-layer dip, and let me read the ingredients for you now. They are 1 16-ounce can Burritos vegetarian refried black beans, fat-free traditional style. That's a mouthful. 1 large ripe avocado, peeled, seeded, and mashed. 1/2 teaspoon garlic salt. 1/4 cup Tofutti sour supreme, better than sour cream. 1/4 cup mayonnaise veggie dressing and spread. 1 package Ortega taco seasoning mix. 2 large ripe tomatoes finely chopped. 1/2 cup black olives sliced. 1 cup of best pimento cheese sauce, which is what we just made for you.
I do want to comment that it is the best too. I've been sampling as I've been stirring.
And 1/2 cup green onions chopped. That's one thing about Linda. She always...
I'm a sampler.
That's right. That's good though. It's really good feedback. What we're going to do now, you're going to take just a 9x9 baking dish, just anything that, you know, your old brownie pan.
Now, do you have this in your knapsack too?
Actually, I ordered this so it would be here. So it's heavy, and I didn't want to keep carrying all my stones back and forth. So I was ahead of the game this time,
Okay.
Linda. So we're going to layer this. We're going to start out with our can of refried black beans. Just look for any brand in your health food store. It doesn't matter, but Burritos is a brand that tastes good, and it's there. And and you're just going to put this as a bottom layer. How's our cheese sauce coming? Is it thickened yet, Linda?
I think it's done. It's
All
got
right.
a real nice consistency.
Now, you know, this is good for just putting into, you know, if you want to put it into a dish and let your hubby eat it with chips, or you can eat it with chips, just as a plain cheese sauce. So it's very versatile. And I really like using it. It's good if you make up a double recipe, because that way I've got a little extra in your refrigerator. And if you have a recipe that calls for cheese sauce or something, you've got something. You don't have to stop and take the time to go and make up another. So, okay, we've just spread this out here. This is our first layer. Now the next layer is an avocado that's mashed, and you're going to mash this up with garlic salt. But let me tell you, this is our avocado, and it's nowhere near ripe. So we're actually not going to mash this and put it into our dish today, because it's a time of the year for us that it's a little hard to find good avocados. But you would mash this up with garlic salt and then do exactly what I just did, just spread it over the top of the beans. But what we're going to do is just take our garlic salt, which is half a teaspoon, and we're just going to lightly sprinkle it over the top. Okay, we'll let that be one of our layers for today. Okay, because this would be in here.
Okay.
So, and next we're going to mix up with a whisk our Tofutti Sour Supreme. Now this is an imitation sour cream, and you can get this at your health food store. And again, I've gotten grocery stores that will start to carry things for me. So it's called Tofutti Sour Supreme, and they also have other things. Tofutti makes a cream cheese that's pretty realistic. You know, you can use it in recipes and things. It's a little bit sweeter than regular cream cheese. This is mayonnaise.
Just go to the grocery store and say, I and all of my friends will purchase this if you stock it.
That's right. That's right. And then we're going to put in 1 package of taco seasoning mix. You can use Ortega if you'd like, but when you're looking for one, if you want to substitute, if I do list a person, you know, a brand name, it's because I've looked at the ingredients, and there are some that have questionable ingredients, or some of them may add like buttermilk solids and those kind of things. So go ahead and substitute. That's fine. Just if you're really trying to stay away from dairy, go ahead and, you know, make sure and read your ingredients, because not all of them list the same things. So Linda, you can whisk that up for us.
All right.
Put you to work.
Actually, this isn't work. This is fun. I tell you, you get together in the kitchen with friends and you're cooking good food. What better thing is there?
I'll tell you, I think it's a lot of fun. And most people like to eat. I mean, I have not met anybody yet, I don't think, that didn't like to eat. So we all have that in common. And then this is going to be our next layer.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm just going to put this, and this gives it the real Mexican flavor with the taco seasoning. Okay. I'm just going to kind of spread that out.
I noticed that you especially like to make ethnic dishes.
Oh, I do. I really like ethnic food. I mean, we've been American all our lives. I am tired.
Let's try
of
something else.
That's right, because you know what? Other cultures have wonderful foods and wonderful seasonings that are still healthful, and there is a lot we can learn from them.
That's right.
And I just, my grandparents are German, and my grandmother, I grew up eating some of the best German cream buns and you know, cottage cheese rolls where they actually used to make the cottage cheese from scratch and things like that that are just wonderful. And I just really learned at an early age to like ethnic foods, but it doesn't matter to me which culture it comes from. The lady that cuts my hair is Lebanese, and she's going to, the next time I come in, she said, call me first, I'll make some food for you. So I'm going to try some Lebanese food, and maybe I'll eventually be able to do something we can put on the show.
Great.
So what's our next layer? We're going to put 2 large ripe tomatoes finely chopped, and I'm just going to put these here, and you can, oh, these have kind of sat for a while, but kind of watery. Go ahead and just spread those out. And then we're going to top that with a 1/2 cup of sliced black olives. Now, if you're an olive hater, you could, you know, leave this out, but I think olives give it a nice flavor. So
That's the heart food.
the heart food, olives.
Olives are good for your heart.
That's right. And olive oil is very nutritional. And then we're going to top this with, next we need our best cheese sauce. And this is a little more than a cup, so I want you just to go ahead and put it on because it's fine. We're not going to.
There'll be more for the staff.
That's right.
Okay.
And then we'll just spread that out. Now this is the part of the old recipe that just called for shredded cheese. And I like this sauce on here. And also the recipe that I adapted this from doesn't require baking it. And you don't bake this, but I like a taco dish that's warm. And so what you're going to do at the end is just warm this through. You don't want to cook it because of the avocado. Everything else in here could be baked, but when you bake the avocado, it really doesn't makes the avocado taste really funny. So you're just going to top this with a 1/2 cup of chopped green onions. Okay? And if you're an onion hater, you can just leave it off a part of it. And that's our dish, Linda.
That looks wonderful.
Just warm this through in the oven, and then let's pull out our bag of chips. And I'll take that washcloth there. I just want to take a minute to talk about chips. In the grocery store, you can find healthy chips, but you have to read your label. You want something that lists usually 3 to 4 ingredients, no more. You want something that has, like, for instance, this one has organically grown corn, corn oil, and salt. Okay, a lot of them will have lime in them. This is just corn chips, but do look because some of the ingredients are, iffy. And we also have another kind here. This is a blue corn chip. And it's made from blue corn, which makes it blue. And these are also very good, and they have lime in them, and they're wonderful. So you're just going to put this in the oven and heat it through at 325 for 20 minutes. You don't want to cook this very long.
Well, I'm going to have to dig in too. So you said earlier, we'll see you later.
That's a very tasty.
But I think we've got another recipe to do.
Yes, we do. We're going to make. Next, my pages don't stick together, a Cancun salsa, and the ingredients are 3 cups of tomatoes, diced small, 1 cup of onions, sweet or green, diced small, 1 teaspoon salt, 1/8 cup cilantro, 1/2 cup lime juice or to taste. Now this salsa, we're going to put in our 3 cups of tomatoes, so you can go ahead and put that in. Like I said, I learned this recipe in Cancun. They didn't actually give it to me, I just picked it apart, would order an entire cup of the salsa and just eat it with a spoon. I thought it was so good. Now 1 cup of sweet onion. Now I want to tell you a trick on this, Linda. Chop it up real fine, and in the wintertime, if you're going to make it and the onions are real burny, Adalia, my assistant today, who's from Puerto Rico, she told me that if you soak your onion in really hot water just while you're doing something else, cutting it up, it will cut that harsh bite that onion has. So you can go ahead and put that in there. But that was a great tip. And then we've got 1/8 cup of cilantro, and cilantro really is another one of those secret ingredients. And a teaspoon of salt, or to taste, and lime juice, 1/2 cup of lime. This is wonderful, and this is what they
use.
Yes, and you're just going to mix this up. And don't mix it up too far ahead of time. You know, if you have people coming over, you want it real fresh and wonderful. And then just serve this with some of your chips, corn chips. And the lime is a secret. Also, Adalia told me that if you're at a place, a restaurant, where they're serving hot sauce, and the hot sauce is very hot, she said, ask for lime or lemon. Put it in there and it cuts the hot taste. So that's a little tip of something I didn't know, so you can try that. I always love to learn new things. So that is our Cancun salsa. And now we're going to make our carob Muddy Buddies, and the ingredients are 2 cups carob chips, unsweetened, 1 cup peanut butter, all natural, 1/4 cup canola oil, 9 cups Post bite-sized shredded wheat, 1/2 cup pure maple syrup, 1/2 cup of powdered barley malt sweetener, 1/2 cup of carob powder. Now what we're going to do is take our shredded wheat, which is going to be the bite size. You don't want the ones that are frosted, Linda, because these are just wheat and salt. We're going to put them in a big dish. Now I hope this dish is big enough, because if it isn't, we're going to kind of
be in trouble.
Get ourselves baptized here. Now we've already melted our carob chips, and it's a barley malt sweetened carob chip, along with our 1/4 cup of canola oil and 1 cup of all natural peanut butter. And we're just going to take and pour this.
And again, you can obtain the carob chips at a health food store.
Right. Now, one thing I want to tell you about carob, you cannot, if you're going to liquefy it for some recipe, if you do want to do some recipe altering, you can't add a liquid that is not oil-based. It will, because carob has an incredible amount of pectin in it, it will immediately thicken up. But if you add something that has an oil base like peanut butter or a little canola oil, you can, I'm going to kind of stand, really ought to have you do the mixing. You're just going to mix these till they're well coated. And I'm going to let you go ahead while I mix this, and because I need you to take our barley malt sweetener, which is just barley malt powder, and it's very light. It kind of reminds me of the ash from Mount St. Helens, actually. And a 1/2 cup of carob powder. It's 1/2 cup of barley malt, 1/2 cup of carob powder, and you're just going to break up. No, don't mix this in. Just kind of mix them together real good and break up any lumps. There they go. Now I've tried putting this in a deep dish, you know, like a Dutch oven, but by the time you get the carob mix down, it really tends to start to break up some of the cereal, and so this works better if you've got like a real nice shallow, big.
I see why it has its name.
Muddy Buddy.
Muddy Buddy.
Now the original Muddy Buddy recipe calls for a powdered sugar on the outside. Now what I do to sweeten this, besides a little bit of sweetener in the little bit of sweetener that's inside the carob chips, we're going to take 1/2 cup of pure maple syrup. Now I add this afterwards. You cannot add this to the carob, because if you put this in when it's cooking, it will just firm up to where it just gets very thick, and you can't do that. So this will, whoops, the crew can eat those ones up.
Yeah.
Actually, we'll probably be sampling them before too long. This just gives it a little extra sweetener. The original recipe's on wheat checks, and so they're very thin, whereas shredded wheat is thicker, and so in order to get the same flavor, you need to add a little maple syrup. So, okay, now once you get that coated well, you're going to just carefully put the powder over the top. Just sprinkle it over, and then I'll do that one more time. And that looks good. Okay, now this is where they start to separate. And you mix this powder in. And I recently did this at a food demonstration, and I had some ladies come up to me afterwards and said, I was just sure this was going to taste horrible, but I really liked it. So I think that even if it looks, you know, a little strange, go ahead and give it a try. And I think you'll be happy with it. So you just kind of toss it around till they're well coated. And that's our Carob Money Buddy. Okay.
Looks great.
So they separate, and this is probably my one of my absolute favorite recipes, this and the fruit salsa. So now I have a little surprise for you.
Okay.
Let's make a garnish. Do you like to garnish?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to, excuse my mess though here. We'll just push this out of the way. We're going to make a radish mouse. Okay, we're going to do it kind of quickly. If you can grab a paring knife, I have just a little knife right here in the front. Now this is your mouse.
Okay.
Okay, and all you need are 3 pieces of radish. Okay, one that still has the tail end on it. Okay, so you get the bigger one as your bottom end of your mouse. Then you need one that's going to be a little smaller for your head. Okay, and then you need one that's even smaller yet that you can cut into your ears. And we're going to take, I'm going to give you a toothpick, just break it in half. You're going to use half of your toothpick to secure the front end to the back end, okay? Just like that.
Okay.
Okay? Then you're going to take the one that's his nose and just cut the root off so it looks like a little nose, okay? So you can go ahead and do that. And then we're going to slice up, you got it? I'm going to slice this into some ears for us, okay? Whoops, that one didn't work out very good. And then we just cut some little grooves in here that we're gonna, you kind of do that at an angle close together. Okay, I don't know if you can pull that out, see if you can see how that's just kind of, and then you're going to stick the ears in. Okay, and then you just take some cloves, stick them in the eyes, a few toothpicks for whiskers, and voila, you have a little radish mouse.
Little mouse. Oh, that is precious. Now, some people would say, well, this is especially for kids, but I really think the adults like them as well. Well, why don't we get a close-up of our 2 little mices here?
I think they turned out very good, Linda.
They're adorable. And these are perfect for a party or a picnic.
Right, and just to signify that you have your little cheese platter or your imitation cheese platter, I just think they're a lot of fun to do garnishes.
Yes. Well, please stay with us as at this time we take you to the 3ABN news break.
Hello, I'm Molly Steenson with some exciting news about a brand new musical project. Last year, you may remember that 3ABN invited international recording artist Yolanda Innocent to record a new album on the 3ABN music label. Yolanda recorded 10 new songs for this project, songs of inspiration, hope, trust, and promise. Many of the songs, including the title track, were written by Yolanda herself. Danny Shelton and our own E.T. Everett co-produced this album, which contains songs like He Never Fails, Kissed by Grace, and The Lamb of God. This beautiful recording is now available on CD and cassette from our mailing department. We've been in our new production building for only 1 year, and we're already bursting at the seams. We found ourselves in need of more office space, editing bays, and there's never enough storage space. Take a look at the progress our crew is making even as we speak. Dave Turner, Daniel Russell, Roger Summers, Nathan Moore, and Larry Welch have all been working very hard getting these offices ready. We even have our own Tammy Larson's dad, Charlie Clark, working on our crew as a volunteer. A growing ministry is an exciting place to be, but it requires much prayer and support to be able to do the Lord's work. We are so thankful for so many of you who have caught the vision of this ministry. If the Lord is impressing you to help us with this construction project, just earmark your gifts for construction. And for all of you, that can access the internet, we want to invite you to visit our webpage. We are located at www.3abn.org. When you visit with us on our webpage, you will find the latest 3ABN news, a current program schedule, many free offers, Danny and Linda's travel schedule, and the wonderful vegetarian recipes you see prepared right here in this wonderful kitchen. And there's much, much more. Again, our webpage is www.3abn.org. If you would like to send us some correspondence, you can send your email over our webpage. Send us your suggestions or any comments that you may have. We'd love to hear from you. If the Holy Spirit is impressing you to support this ministry, you may contact us at the following address and telephone number. Thank you for your prayers and financial support, and may God bless you as you become partners in spreading the good news of Jesus Christ to the whole world.
Well, Barbara, I would just like to thank you so much for sharing your recipes with us today.
You are welcome. I love coming here, Linda.
And if you would like to contact Barbara, please write to us here at call us for the recipes. And until next time, may the Lord richly bless you abundantly more than you could ever ask or think.
Thank you for being our family.
Thank you for being our friends.
May God bless and keep you in all that you may do until we meet again. May God bless